Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Can I call the meeting to order? Thank you so much for joining us, and for those of us joining us online as well. My name is Makalia Aklilu, and a very warm welcome to everyone. I work at the UNECA, the Energy Transition and Climate Finance, leading the Energy Modeling Platform for Africa with CCG and a host of international partners. Thank you all for joining us for this high-level meeting. First of all, before I start, a huge congratulations to all our participants for your hard work and tremendous efforts over the past few weeks. I've had a chance to engage with you, and it's been really gratifying to see your commitment, your dedication, your overall excitement about the endeavor, and especially what you plan on doing going back. As we all know, this is the beginning of a journey. You've now joined the energy modeling community, and we trust that you have acquired the skills and technical knowledge that you need to be able to, use these modeling tools to help your ministries and academic settings, be it as you may when you go back home, to be able to serve your countries in energy planning, transition work, as well as bring about real, tangible developmental impact. So thank you so much for that. Excuse me. So just for context, as we all know, global decarbonization efforts are gaining pace, and there are calls for a holistic system-wide shift in energy systems, and our African countries find themselves at a juncture as they're faced with making deeply strategic choices on low-carbon development pathways going forward. Decision makers in the energy realm require solid data and modeling results to inform the policy processes and generate actionable intelligence as they address these complex developmental challenges. The energy systems transformation that is unfolding will be disruptive, implying a radical departure from business as usual, which is why we are here, and it will require innovation, experimentation by the leading actors in science policy interfaces, which is where EMPA comes in. The notion of an energy modeling platform arose prior to COP21, driven by the deficit in general for capacity in energy modeling in Africa. We at the ECA felt that it was crucial to provide those working in the energy sphere with a better understanding, not only of the energy landscape, but in particular how open source modeling and planning tools could help address the continent's energy challenges. As Africa strives to meet the considerable energy requirements for its rising population, attain the SDGs, and meet the imperatives and industrialization objectives that are enshrined in Agenda 2063, the urgent need for strategic long-term energy planning could not be more essential. We felt a call to close the deficit in human and institutional capacity with regards to effectively using modeling tools for energy supply, demand, investment planning, and management. From our humble beginnings here, actually, in 2018 in Addis, where only 10 students were trained, there has been massive growth in numbers. Andreas is with me for SC for All. I was one of the first trainees, actually, and it was a new kind of undertaking that my former colleague Linus before, and Mark Howells, director of CCG, who hopefully is joining us online, that kind of came up with the need to, going forward, how are we going to help Africa meet its deficit in energy planning needs? And it's taken us to Cape Town, University of Mauritius, Windhoek, and Accra last year, and now we're coming back to where it started all here in Addis. We've been encouraged by the growing interest, participation, and resounding calls for more dedicated sessions, as can be witnessed by the growing number of modules that we've been offering. We started off with osmosis, onset, and clues, and now we've grown to 7 this year, I believe. So it's really been impressive to see the uptake over the years. Finally, partnerships. And this is really crucial, and I cannot stress this enough, because the EMPA really is a collaboration of the myriad of institutions, of course, with ECA and CCG leading, but SC for All, WRI, IEA, World Bank, IRENA, IAA, I can go on. It's a long list. And we also have academic institutions such as Loughborough University, UCL, University of Cambridge, Oxford, Politecnico di Milano, and so many others. So we really believe in the need for effective partnership and synergizing our efforts in this space with like-minded institutions, drawing on the expertise both in academia and, of course, international organizations. Such partnerships are the very DNA of the EMPA, without which this would not be possible. So we aim to also, crucially, co-organize with academic institutions. So whenever we go to different countries, for example, in Mauritius, we organize this together with the University of Mauritius, in South Africa with the University of Cape Town, in Ghana with GIMPA, in Windhoek with UNAM. So we always try to bridge that academic policy interface to make sure that we do away with this, siloed approach where there's that disconnect between technical experts in the ministries and the academia setting. So we really need to make sure that that marriage kind of takes place and fortifies going forward. And that has really helped us to strengthen and reinforce the initiative over the past few years. So thank you again for your steadfast commitment to this endeavor. I will now hand over to my chief, James Morabetsi, at the Africa Climate Policy Center here at the UNECA to make his opening remarks.
Yeah, I think I should say greetings to you, colleagues, since this is the first time that I'm attending this session of the EMPA. And thank you, Mekalia. So since this is the first time that I'm attending, I'm not sure that what I'm saying are opening remarks. You've been meeting for a couple of weeks already. I guess I'll just make a few remarks in terms of my understanding of where we are, but also where we should be going with the platform, but also what do we do with the knowledge, the experiences, the expertise that we acquire in the process of the platform. Firstly, we do recognize that there are three key enablers for effective long-term energy planning. We understand all of the background, the need for long-term energy planning in terms of the changing climate context, the changing economics, the changing financial context, but also the changing security dynamics of the African continent. And I'm speaking from an African perspective. And these key enablers include, firstly, analytical capacity. We have been informed how there are critical capacity gaps on the continent, and we understand that those critical capacity gaps limit the capacity of many decision makers on the African continent to do appropriate scenario planning, which would enable us to understand the impacts of climate change, the impacts of the different security considerations, but also the impacts of the increasing demand for energy on the continent. So that's one key enabler, analytical capacity. The second is data adequacy. I think there are huge challenges on the African continent regarding availability, access, investment in data generation, and so on. And this obviously limits our capacity to model the energy systems and also to predict our future demands. But a critical enabler for long-term energy planning is political will. We can acquire as much expertise as we want, as we can provide, but if there is no political will to translate that into policies, into investments, into strategies, then we will not have achieved the objective. In addition, developing scenario building capabilities is a long-term undertaking. It's not something that happens over a short period of time. It's not a short investment. It's a long-term investment. But this also requires constant commitment and constant training. So I believe this is part of the reason why we are now in the 6th iteration of the EMP, as a reflection of our commitment to that long-term repetitive training and capacity building. But this also in turn requires commitment and support from governments, non-government institutions, and other bodies who are the users and the ultimate policy makers. Now, this energy modeling platform, from what I understand, actually seeks to address all of the three key enablers that we talked about, in the sense that it firstly seeks to support human and institutional capacity in Africa, capacity for integrated energy modeling and investment planning. It also seeks to gather the energy planning and modeling community in Africa to share experiences, models, data in climate, land, energy, and water systems. But thirdly, it also seeks to promote efficient and widespread use of open source modeling tools to support the implementation of the SDGs, the Paris Agreement, and Africa's own Agenda 2063. So now that we are in this sixth round of the EMP-Africa, which started in 2018, 2016? 2018. And which also seeks to transfer skills in models and tools for energy planning needs. This, as I indicated, shows the long-term commitment of the parties involved in the platform. And I would like to especially acknowledge the CCG International Partnership, that is UNESCO, and of course the UNECA. I think it is also appropriate that I congratulate all of the participants of this particular session, but also of the previous sessions on the successful completion of the course. And I'm confident that the platform will continue to provide backup support in your engagements with governments, financial institutions, and other stakeholders as you contribute to planning Africa's energy futures. And finally, I would like to acknowledge the immense contributions made by my colleague Mekalia here in leading this session. And she indicated also to recognize the contributions of our former colleague, Dr. Linus Mofo, who has since joined the UN Children's Fund, UNICEF, but continues to support this platform from his new position. So allow me once again to congratulate you and to wish you all the success going forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, James, for those thoughtful remarks. In the interest of time, let me hand over now to Dr. Rita Visonal, Director of UNESCO and the Liaison Office of the African Union and UNECA, representative of Ethiopia. Dr. Rita, over to you. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. First of all, allow me to apologize for coming in late. I'm very sorry. So Ms. Vivian Foster, the Partnership Director from CCG International, Mr. James Bezki, the Chief of Climate Change from the UNECA. Good morning. As UNESCO, we are very pleased to join this high-level meeting on the Data to Deal. We recognize the meeting's critical focus in bringing data, policy, and finance to accelerate Africa's energy transition within the context of a global climate crisis. We all know that Africa's development is intrinsically linked to its energy future, with access to energy being essential to achieving the African Union's Agenda 2063, as well as the UN SDG goals, especially SDG 7, which is affordable and clean energy, as well as SDG 13 on climate action. Africa's energy landscape presents both immense opportunities and formidable challenges, as we all know. Our continent, Africa, is really rich in renewable energy resources, whether it be solar, wind, hydro, geothermal, which offer the potential to leapfrog to a cleaner energy future. However, this also poses a significant energy deficit, with a large proportion of the population lacking access to electricity. This deficit negatively impacts economic growth, limits social development, and exacerbates inequalities. The climate crisis adds another layer of complexity, ladies and gentlemen, and Africa is unfortunately disproportionately vulnerable to these impacts. The transition to clean energy is just not an environmental imperative, but it is also an opportunity for the African continent to leapfrog to a more sustainable and resilient development pathway. The commitments made by African member states under the Paris Agreement require urgent and concerted action. The Energy Modeling Platform for Africa has made valuable strides in building capacity for data-driven energy planning. As this meeting rightly points out, the challenge now is to translate this planning into bankable projects that attract the necessary investments. This means technical expertise, robust policy frameworks, and innovative financing mechanisms. As UNESCO, our contribution to this effort centers on several interconnected pillars. Strengthening STEM education, STEM meaning science, technology, engineering, and mathematics education. We are committed as UNESCO to enhancing STEM education across the African continent, with increasing emphasis on integrating renewable energy and sustainability. This is crucial for building a workforce which is capable of driving the energy transition. UNESCO's work in this area includes supporting curriculum development that incorporates climate change and renewable energy, training teachers, promoting access to STEM education for girls and women who are often underrepresented as vital agents of change. We also want to promote science, technology, and innovation. And as UNESCO, this is exactly what we are doing, actively promoting science, technology, and innovation as a key driver for sustainable development and climate action. This includes supporting scientific research on climate change mitigation and adaptation, promoting innovation in a renewable energy technology, as well as smart agriculture, and fostering collaboration among scientists, policymakers, and with the private sector. We believe that investing in STI is essential for developing and deploying appropriate and sustainable energy solutions for Africa. We are also promoting education for sustainable development. We have champions of education for sustainable development, and ESD empowers learners with knowledge, skills, values, attitudes, which are needed to address the sustainable development challenges, which include climate change and energy. So ESD is really essential if we want to develop informed citizens and decision makers. We are also building institutional capacity by contributing to strengthening institutional capacity through programs of data collection and management, scientific literacy, and policy development, which are key to the energy sector. So I think, finally, ladies and gentlemen, this meeting's objectives to strengthen capacity, mobilize finance, and foster collaboration are strongly aligned with UNESCO's mission. We believe that we need to work more together to prioritize education, science, inclusivity, and it is in this way that we can better support Africa in achieving its energy and development aspirations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Rita, for those words. I now hand over to Vivian Foster, who is the International Partnership Director at Climate Compatible Growth of FCDO. Vivian, over to you.
Thank you very much, Makalia, and a very warm welcome to everyone to this final leg of EMP-Africa 2025. Like all of our EMPs, this event exemplifies the philosophy that we have co-developed over these 6 years and includes certain key elements, such as open source models and open access data, user-friendly Excel-based interfaces to democratize access to modeling, hands-on and policy-relevant exercises as the central basis for learning, emphasis on communication of modeling results to a non-technical audience, and integration of academia and policymaking in a single classroom. I would like to use these opening remarks to do 3 things. First of all, on behalf of CCG Director Mark Howells, I'd like to extend warm and sincere thanks to the many partners that have made this event possible. In particular, we are always very grateful to UNECA, who've been our steadfast partners in this endeavor right from the beginning, as we heard from Makalia, and who've also provided for us this marvelous conference facility, which has made it such a congenial atmosphere for the 6th edition of the course. We are indebted also to our co-funders who have sponsored the participation of many of the participants around the table, including the Danish Energy Agency, the World Bank, WRI, and SC4All, as well as FCDO. We're also grateful to partners who have provided their own trainers to deliver, committing the time of their experts to provide the training for this session, experts from Sustainable Energy for All, WRI, IRENA, Polimi, and of course the CCG partner universities. And finally, to thank also our dedicated trainers, as well as our trainee trainers and our students. And I would be remiss not to mention our dedicated organizing committee, Rosie McGrain and Naval Kaur, who've worked so hard to keep the show on the road these last 2 weeks. But second, I would like to address our students and to echo Makalia by saying today is not the end, but actually the beginning. We all know that training is not an end in itself. And we have high expectations of what you can accomplish with the skills that you've acquired here over these last weeks. In a little while, we'll be hearing some inspirational stories from former EMP-Africa alumni, and hopefully they will give you some ideas about how you can go back and really make a difference with the skills that you have acquired. Another important message for our students is that we remain committed to you, and we want to continue to engage with you as you try to apply these skills in your everyday workplace. Remember the saying, use it or lose it. It's really important that you continue to make use of the skills, and we are willing to empower you to do that in whatever work environment you will be going back into. So I'd like to maybe just highlight a few of the ongoing commitments that we have to you. So first of all of you are automatically enrolled in the energy modeling community. The energy modeling community is a network of all the energy modeling platform alumni, over 700 experts around the world who've gone through the training. And we will be providing you with ongoing on-demand technical support. If you're trying to apply the models, you get stuck, you need troubleshooting, we're there, you can contact us. We'll be providing ongoing professional enrichment opportunities, webinars, additional training sessions, opportunities to present your own work in progress to get feedback from your peers. And we'll soon be launching a networking and mentoring network where we get some of the more advanced alumni to support those who are starting out to become experienced energy modelers. As we mentioned yesterday, for those academics among you, we have the Flatpak initiative. We are very excited about the possibility that our academic alumni can go back and integrate these modeling tools into their university curricula precisely to meet this huge need for STEM education that Rita was pointing to. So we count on you to do that, and we stand by you in order to support you in that process. We also hope that many of you will continue to perfect the projects that you've begun here. We heard yesterday some really interesting analyses, some very relevant policy issues, and many of our former alumni have gone on to actually publish papers, policy papers or research articles based on the work that they've begun here. We know that that's not easy, and again, we remain committed to work with you to provide you ongoing coaching support if that would be helpful to get your projects past the final line in terms of that quality that you need for publication. I also wanted to point you to our LinkedIn badges. So we have developed, with the support from the Open University in the United Kingdom, a micro-accreditation system of LinkedIn badges. So these are badges that you can earn and download and become part of your LinkedIn profile. It enables you to showcase the skills you've acquired, and it enables other people to find you as certified modeling professionals. So those who complete the energy modeling platform become a bronze level certification. And those who then continue to use the models to start to publish articles can move on to silver and eventually gold accreditation levels. And there's a whole structure to help you to do that. And we also have training badges for assistant and lead instructors. And we encourage those of you who are keen to come back to future EMPs as assistant trainers. Our ambition is that in the future, the whole energy modeling platform will be based on trainers who are alumni of the course. So that's the vision that we have and that we're working towards. So finally, I'd like to say a few words about the rest of this morning's session, which, as was mentioned, is structured around the concept of data to deal. So data to deal is an approach to mobilizing finance for climate transition, which has proved successful in many countries in Latin America, and which we are now exploring its application in the African context. Data to deal is a holistic approach which combines political facilitation, institutional capacity building, stakeholder engagement, and rigorous technical modeling. A key step in the data to deal framework is capacity building, which is why our first two sessions today will focus on that. We will begin by learning about the impacts that capacity building has had through past EMP alumni, and then we'll go on to showcase the capacity that's been built at this event in the last couple of weeks. But while energy planning provides a solid foundation, it is by no means the end of the story. So in the latter stages of the day, we'll be hearing about the two important stages that follow upon the delivery of a sound technical plan. First of all, the need to address policy bottlenecks. In many countries, there are policy impediments that prevent plans from being implemented. And finally, we'll be looking at the issue of capital mobilization. You may have a plan. We heard yesterday how huge the investment tags are associated with those plans. So what will it take to come up with a financing strategy that will ensure that that plan can actually become a reality? So I'll like to leave you with those thoughts and simply to highlight the increasing political importance of energy planning. The G20 Brazilian presidency recently launched the Global Coalition on Energy Planning, which is trying to raise the political profile of energy planners, to highlight the important role that they play, but also to facilitate the financing of energy plans. So this is very much the next agenda item on the international circuit. So thank you very much, and we look forward to a day of engaging discussions around these themes. Thank you.